So what if the United States Navy patented an engine that could literally manipulate the fabric of reality? And what if the patent itself wasn't about protecting an invention, but was actually the weapon? We are about to dive deep into one of the biggest paradoxes in modern military tech, a story that's all about physics that sound impossible and strategic games that are all too real. Here's how we're going to break this down. First, we'll tackle the Pais paradox head-on. Then, we'll explore the idea that this is all just one great deception. After that, we'll confront the terrifying possibility that it's a real space-time weapon. And finally, you'll see how both of these ideas might just be part of a single, brilliant strategy called the duality of concealment. Okay, so this whole thing really starts with one guy, Dr. Salvatore Pais. He's an aerospace engineer at the Naval Air Warfare Center Aircraft Division. You'll hear it called NAWCAD. And he's the author of these wild patents, all assigned directly to the U.S. Secretary of the Navy, that describe physics so out there they honestly sound like magic. And look, this is not science fiction. What you are reading right now is the official, on-the-record statement from the Chief Technology Officer for the entire naval aviation enterprise, Dr. James Sheehy. He isn't just giving it a thumbs up. He is stating, with what sounds like total certainty, that this is the future. You can't get much higher stakes than that.
So what exactly are we talking about here? Well, this is the big one. It's a patent for a device that supposedly creates a quantum vacuum bubble around a craft. This bubble would basically push away space-time itself, allowing the craft to change direction and speed instantly, with zero g-forces. It's a vehicle that can just ignore the laws of physics as we know them.
And this leads us to the biggest question of all. Is Dr. Pais a genius who actually invented a reality-breaking weapon? Or is he the face of the most sophisticated, high-level misdirection campaign the U.S. government has ever pulled off? Let's dig into that first possibility.
You know, the simplest, most logical explanation is that these patents are just a lie. A really, really smart, strategic, and weaponized lie that is designed to send America's enemies on a multi-billion-dollar wild goose chase into a scientific dead end.
And honestly, the evidence for this is pretty strong. Just look at the timeline. In 2017, the U.S. Patent Office examiner did exactly what you'd think he'd do. He rejected it, flat out. Said it was scientifically impossible, that the energy needed would be astronomical, way beyond anything we could ever produce. That should have been the end of it. But it wasn't, because Dr. James Sheehy himself stepped in.
Now get this. Listen to Sheehy's argument, pulled right from his official declaration. He didn't come back with new data or argue the science. He made a political argument. He literally told the Patent Office that China was already working on this stuff, and for national security, the U.S. had to own the idea first. The science was just pushed aside for geopolitics.
Just think about it for a second. What country in their right mind would publish a detailed technical blueprint for its most secret game-changing weapon system for the whole world to see? You don't do that. Unless the patent itself is the weapon. The goal was never to protect an invention. It was to publicize a fake one so well that your enemies would have no choice but to waste their time and money on it.
And here's how that strategy would work step by step. First, you create this public, officially stamped white program, the Pais effect. You make it look legit. This baits foreign intelligence into chasing a ghost, pouring their best scientists and billions of dollars into physics that go nowhere. And while they're busy doing that, you've created the perfect smokescreen for the real top-secret program you're hiding in the dark. And what's the real program they're hiding? It's likely the development of a compact fusion reactor, specifically something called a field reversed configuration, or FRC. Now, this is real physics, stuff that's been worked on for decades. And FRC is a plausible, compact, super powerful energy source. It's the real secret. And the Pais patents, they're just the shadow meant to hide it. But what if that's not the full story?
Let's shift gears now to something way more disturbing. What if the whole deception theory is actually the cover story? What if the patents are in fact real?
This whole thing gets turned on its head if we just ask one simple question. What if the impossible physics Pais describes are the only way to explain the impossible movements we've seen in things like the MH370 or video? What if the government wasn't patenting a random theory, but was actually trying to explain something they had already seen? Okay, to pull off that kind of performance, to literally bend space-time, our current understanding of physics says you need something called exotic matter.
This isn't just rare stuff. It's a substance that basically has anti-gravity. It exhibits negative pressure. It pushes reality away. And for a long, long time, this has been the main theoretical roadblock to things like warp drives or stable wormholes.
And right here, this is the bombshell. The Pais patent isn't just about a spaceship drive. It explicitly claims to have a method for creating exactly this effect. This local polarized vacuum he talks about, made with high-frequency electromagnetic waves, well, that is the government's claimed solution to the exotic matter problem. They have literally patented the key to creating anti-gravity.
Now let's bring back that FRC we talked about. Remember, the plausible fusion reactor? Think of it as a super-dense, self-contained, rapidly spinning donut of plasma. It is an insane, high-energy electromagnetic engine, which is precisely the kind of hardware you would need if you wanted to bring the Paris effect to life.
When you just lay it all out, the logic is, well, it's terrifyingly simple. Step 1. The problem is exotic matter. You need it. Step 2. The Pais patent gives you the government-owned theory on how to make it. And Step 3. The FRC, the real hardware they're building in secret, is the physical engine that brings that theory to life. The theory and the hardware fit together like a lock and a key.
So where does that leave us? Are we being lied to, or is something reality-bending being built? The truth might be that those two things aren't opposites. They're part of the same layered, frankly brilliant strategy, a masterpiece of concealment.
You see, the Pais patents are probably doing two jobs at the exact same time. On the surface, they're public chaff, a loud, crazy-sounding, and very visible distraction. But underneath, they are core intellectual property. They are the U.S. government staking its legal claim on the physics of space-time itself. So when this tech finally comes out, they already own it. And this is the absolute genius of it. The deception actually protects the reality. The fact that the physics sounds so impossible is the best camouflage in the world. I mean, who would ever suspect that a real working space-time engine is being hidden behind a theory that was publicly called unscientific and rejected? It's hiding in plain sight. And what this really shows us is the government's two-track strategy. On one side, they have the plausible, safer bet, developing the FRC as a next-generation power source. But on the other side, they have the high-risk, high-reward bet, using that exact same hardware to test the wild, reality-bending physics that Salvatore Pais described. They're playing both sides.
And this isn't just a plan for the future. It seems to be operational. This dual strategy, combining a believable power source with unbelievable physics, seems to have already created a real-world strategic capability that's so important it was used during Operation MH370. And that leaves us with one final and frankly outrageous question. The evidence strongly suggests that a blueprint to engineer reality itself now exists. It's owned by a government and it's being built in secret. We're talking about a technology that could solve the energy crisis, revolutionize medicine, it could change everything for humanity. So why is it being hidden? And why is its very first application being perfected as a weapon?